Very good morning, everyone. This online session on JFSD SDP demonstration using Spring Boot MVC. And we are just going to develop this project lively with Frontend as JSP. Later, we'll just convert into React.js accordingly. Okay. So we'll just talk about some introductory topics related to Spring Boot MVC and JPA, everything and all. Then we will get into our project creation followed by development. So we will just wait for like 2 to 3 minutes and then we'll start our class. Right. So let's just start talk about Spring Boot MVC. Basically, Spring Boot MVC, MVC part of Spring Boot, it is used to develop web applications. You already know MVC concept in, every full stack. Eventually in the Java full stack development, you already know in your Spring. So Spring MVC and Spring Boot MVC, both are same as per the flow I'm talking about. But when you just talk about configuration, in Spring MVC, we need to do a lot of configuration, but Spring Boot, most of the components are inbuilt. So MVC is used to develop web applications and everyone knows that M stands for model and V stands for view and C stands for controller. There is an extra component called as front controller. FC stands for front controller. So this is very important. Now let's talk about what is a model. Model is nothing but it represents it is going to provide data for application. That means generally a Pojo class will be annotated with the annotation called as entity at class level, so that the entire class will be converted to table. So we call it as entity. So placing a entity for the Pojo class will convert the entire class into table. So everyone, you know one point that class represents table and property represents or attribute represents column and object represents record, or we call it tuple also. So this comes under ORM. So what is ORM? ORM is nothing but object relational mapping. So as part of ORM, we are just talking about JPA, Java Persistence API. So we'll just talk about one by one. The next one is, let's go to controller. Then we'll go to view. What is controller? It is used to write server side, or we call it as business logic. It is used to write server. That means, if you want to make any class as if you want to make any class as controller, no, you need to add controller annotation at class level, so that that will be work as a controller. So what controller will take? It will take the request from the client. It will take the request from the client, and every controller will have some mappings and all. So we'll talk about one by one. Take the request from the client and send the response using view and all, using view. So what is view? View is nothing but user interface. Yes, of course. So view is nothing but user interface. So it is going to represents user interface. UI we call it as. So this UI can be developed by using, some people will use JSP, or some people use Themeleaf library. Themeleaf library is used to render HTML files, or some people will use React.js, or some people will use AngularJS, etc. So JSP is nothing but HTML code plus Java code. Okay, so we can just develop interface using Spring Boot with JSP, or Spring Boot with HTML, or Spring Boot with React, or any other front-end technologies. So these are the three main key components as part of Spring Boot MVC. Now the last one is, everyone know that dispatcher servlet will be acted as front controller. That means the client request will be taken by the client request will be, then it will be passed to controller. So generally everyone knows that like controller will take the instead of taking generally controller will take the request if you just talk about JSP MVC and remaining other full stack MVC architectures and all. But in Spring Boot, instead of controller is going to take the request, dispatcher is the other component which will take the request. That request will be passed. Controller contains, I just talked about server-side code as business logic, right? So controller contains generally servlet code. Okay. So view contains JSP code or HTML code, React.js. Contains dispatcher and all. These are the four key components. The first one is controller, next one is view, next one is front controller, and the last one is model. Model is an entity. Controller is to write the server side logic. View is nothing but like JSP, and front controller is nothing but dispatcher servlet. And let me talk about JPA. So what is JPA? JPA stands for Java Persistence API. Java Persistence API. Was one point that initial days of Java, every package will be imported from import java.sql.star or util.star, and then later it is just converted to JavaX, that is Java extension, and later now we are using Jakarta. So the present version of Java contains all the packages imported from Jakarta dot. Previously JavaX, and initial it is Java. So JPA. Here we are going to use a JPA called as Spring Data JPA. Using this, you no need to write no need to write a lot of code to perform CRUD operations. Instead, we can directly use existing methods, inbuilt method or predefined method that's in repositories available in Spring Data JPA. So what are the repositories? Generally, repository means repository represents or repository means represents the database logic, or the main logic of your CRUD operations, database logic, and which avoids boilerplate code.
No need to write more number of lines and from any CRUD operation. You can just use some inbuilt methods directly, so that a lot of configuration can be reduced. So there are totally 3 repositories we have. The first one is CRUD repository. So these are all the interfaces. So as per naming convention, it's a first letter and capitalized word, C and R are capital. Second one is
paging and sorting repository. And third one is JPA repository. So CRUD repository, paging and JPA. CRUD repository contains some specific methods. This paging and sorting repository will extend CRUD repository. JPA repository will extend paging and sorting repository. That means A to B, B to C, finally A to C. So if you use JPA repository, you will get the functionality of JPA repository plus paging plus CRUD repository. So most of the projects have JPA repository. If you want to use your CRUD repository also, the only thing is like, if you want to have more and more functionalities, then go with JPA repository. So in our project today, we'll go with JPA repository only, so that we can get the functionality of CRUD plus paging and sorting plus JPA repository. Right. Now, so till now we discussed about what is Spring Boot MVC and what is Spring Data JPA. So while creating project, I'll just be focusing on some important points, and I'll be talking about flow also, how the MVC architecture will execute. Okay, so let us all getting into our project creation. So I think if you just check the previous topics, topic 1 is how to install Spring Tool Suite in Eclipse. Second one is REST controller versus controller. Most of the annotations are covered. So based on that, today demonstration will be done. So we'll just go to our Eclipse workspace. I mean, in the Eclipse, I created a separate Spring Boot workspace. I hope you checked the previous videos on Spring Boot topic 1 and topic 2. So let me open my Eclipse with the projects. One is Spring Boot Hello World project, and the next one is Spring Boot REST controller. So let me just close all the tabs so that there will be no confusion. So this is how the some people, I already told there are many ways to create Spring Boot projects in my first video. Some people will install Spring Tool Suite IDE separately. Some people will create project in the Spring Boot initializer from the website. And now what we are doing is like we already integrated Spring Tool Suite in the Eclipse directly. Okay. Now let's create the project. Go to new. So we just need to choose Spring Starter project. Spring Starter project. Now service URL. Let me just put some name, Spring Boot MVC SDP project. So this is my project name, or we call it as artifact ID also. Artifact ID is nothing but application name. So project name. And then go with the type is Marvin only, because using Marvin, why Marvin? If I just ask instead of adding the jar files manually, you can directly get them from the specific repository by just adding the dependencies information in the pom.xml. Var or jar is 2-tier console applications, var is 3-tier web application. Java version is 21 because the latest Eclipse needs a 21 version. So please take 21. Language is Java. Of course, we are writing entire code in Java programming language only. And group ID is com.klf.jfs.springboot. Artifact is name of the application. Version, initial version is 0.0.1. Description. Description is Spring Boot demo SDP project. Basically, SDP is nothing but skill development project. I'm just mentioning SDP and project separately. And the package. So I'm mentioning my group ID and the package name is both are same. So that com.klf.jfsd.springboot will be created as a by default package. So this is the important window where we need to ensure that everything is provided properly, like name, everything and all, and the versions. Click on next. This is very important step. The first one is Spring Web. Spring Web is used to implement RESTful web services like API, get, post, put, delete and all, and the MVC. So Spring Web contains both MVC and RESTful web services. And the next one is Spring Boot DevTools. What is DevTools? Like if you just check our first video, I clearly explained. So Spring Boot DevTools, you no need to restart the server whenever you do modification in the project. So automatically restarted. That is Spring Boot DevTools. And the third one is Spring Data JPA. Just now we discussed, right? If you add this, you no need to write a lot of code to perform any CRUD operation. You can just take existing inbuilt methods or existing methods. And third one is, as you all know that we are going to add MySQL as our database. So let's take MySQL. 4. So the first one is Spring Boot DevTools. The second one is Spring Data JPA. And third one is MySQL driver and Spring Web. And the next one is Lombok. Lombok is used like you don't need to generate setter and getter methods like automatically or manually. You can directly use setter, getter, construct annotations directly in your Pojo class. So the code will be automatically considered. So that the dependency is called as Lombok. So I mentioned one point called as boilerplate. Boilerplate is nothing but uh, instead of repeating the, I just mentioned somewhere like boilerplate, instead of repeating the code multiple number of times. So that is called as boilerplate, is a disadvantage. So don't repeat the same code multiple times, right? So either we have to use some predefined methods or use one method, call it multiple times. And if you want, if you want to add, you can add mail also, Java mail sender. So we'll discuss later how to send a mail. So like that, you can add any dependency like this. If you forgot to add any dependency, you can add in between the project also. So let me click on next. All these dependencies will be downloaded from the start.spring.io so that one zip file will be downloaded automatically, will be imported here. So let me click on finish. So if you see previous videos, it will be understandable because we have shown how to create by taking all the ensure that you have a section. Right now it is showing 45%. Right. Right. So the project getting created 80%. Right. Perfect. So the project created successfully. Now let's just getting into our our first file, which is spring com.klab.jfs.springboot is created. So let's getting into this file. Everyone knows that this is a main file which contains annotation called as Spring Boot application, so that the execution will be started from this file onwards. So I'm just adding this out like SDP project working or running. And now, so just go to boot dashboard. You can see option here, boot dashboard. Okay. Right. Let's just go to boot dashboard. So you can just run by using right click on this run as Spring Boot application. This is one option, but my suggestion is like just go with the simple option. Right click on this restart or start. You'll get one error. We'll see what that error exactly. So the error is first one, failed to configure data source. So why we are just getting this error? We already added Spring Data JPA to my project. Whenever you add Spring Data JPA to your project, we must set the data source in the application or properties. So let's go to resources, application or property.
Application name is already there. Let's start server.port, a random port number, my employee ID. And then let's just start our what we call remaining properties. Before that, let me create one database. So let me open MySQL database. So otherwise the problem will be if you don't create the database, if you just give a random name, the problem will be you'll get error as unknown database. That's why let's create data.
Okay. Let me just increase the font size. Right. Root. Create database. Database name is Spring Boot MVC SDP demo. So let's just mention this here. Database name is Spring Boot MVC demo. So now use space Spring Boot MVC SDP demo. Right. You can just create with any name, but ensure that throughout the JFSD, just ensure that any kind of lab experiment or any kind of file or any kind of class interface, everything should be created with a proper naming convention. So now also, if you don't want to create with Spring Boot MVC demo, SDP demo or whatever it is, you create a relevant name and ensure that you use that name in your database, like application or properties. Now let's just start. So let me clear the screen. After setting the application or properties, then let's just go to our project running. Fine. So let me just so let's start with the first one, which is the first one is we just have to set the property name like spring dot Right. So the database name is Spring Boot MVC demo project. So let's just start with the first one, which is Spring data source dot driver class. Spring dot data source dot driver class com dot mysql dot driver. Spring dot data source dot URL. Let's take URL. Second one is URL. I think this one, spring dot URL is equal to JDBC colon. Let's just try to get any suggestions, no suggestions. So let's type it. JDBC colon MySQL colon / localhost colon. Port number is 3306. That is for MySQL. And I think we created database. Let me copy paste that so that if there is any spelling and misspelling and all, you will get unknown database error. Fine. The next one is spring dot data source dot. So let's go with username, not dbcp data source. Spring dot data source dot username is equal to. So username is root. Everyone know. Spring dot data source dot password. You just need to give your password. My MySQL password is root. So with this, we have done with the data source properties. That means we call it as connection properties. Connection or data source properties. Next, let's go to Hibernate properties. So hash Spring Hibernate properties. Hibernate properties are, first one is spring dot JPA dot Hibernate dot DDL. Create is nothing but every time the tables will be dropped and create again. So let's go with update. So that when the table is not there, table will be created. If the table contains any kind of modifications, it will be altered, but it will never drop your table. So go with update. Next one is spring.jpa.show_SQL. The queries will be displayed in the console. So it should be true. By default, it is false. Spring.jpa.properties.hibernate properties. We call it as Hibernate dialect. One second. Spring.jpa.properties.hibernate.
Spring dot Hibernate dialect. Dialect is nothing but which database we are using. You know something, no need to use this line because you already mentioned MySQL as a database. So this will be shown as a warning in the console. So it is not mandatory, it is optional. So the dialect name is org dot Hibernate dot dialect dot M capital MySQL SQL capital D capital dialect. Right.
Fine. So these are the three important things. First one is connection properties and then Hibernate properties. Then for MVC purpose, we need to take, we call it as view resolver. View resolver is nothing but whenever we just render JSP file, uh, the JSP file will be resolved by just checking the path. Path contains two things, prefix, suffix. So how to take that? Spring dot MVC dot view dot prefix. Generally, all the JSP files will be created in the web app folder. If you want to create in any other folder called as webinf or metainf, mention that folder webinf. As you're going to create in web app, directly you can take / spring dot MVC dot view dot suffix. JSP file extension is what? .jsp. So prefix is before name of the JSP file. That means where we are going to create all these files in the web app folder. Web app folder, for example, demo.jsp, like that. Perfect then. So now, let us all run the project. So let's see whether we are going to get any error or not. So I'm just getting SDP project because my application or properties just set with all the properties perfectly. Now, as we are just going to create all the models, everything and all, ensure that you stop the server only, because the problem will be when you just type the all the properties and all, automatically the tables will be created. So ensure that you just stop the server. After writing the models code, then you can run the project. Now, right click on this com.klf, go to new, choose package. The package is dot model. Some people will create with models also. Dot controller. Dot server. Dot rep. Let's just refresh once. Right. So ensure that you create this folders. The first, the base package is I shortly called as ckjs com.klf.jfsd.spring boot. And the remaining packages are, the first one is model, next one is repository, and then service, and then last one is controller. Some people will create this model as entity also. If you see the official documentation and all, the model package will be created as com.klf.jfsd. Com.klf is like domain name, JFSD is a course name, .springboot is the topic. Like that, you can extend the package like anything. Some people will create either model, or some people will create with entity also. Like we already talked about what is entity at the beginning of the class. So one important point is like if you are not going to create packages under this root package, if you want to give your own packages, like for model, I want to give Spring Boot dot models. For repository, I want to give different package names for every package. In that case, you need to mention Spring Boot initial @component scan. @component scan. So we have to mention every package specifically. As we are creating every package under, I mean, every sub package under group package called as group ID called as com.klf.jfsd, you no need to mention any package separately. But if you misspell the package name, or if you create with any other different names and all, you must ensure that specify the package in this file. So my suggestion is like go with this flow, like create every sub package under base package only. Right then. And now I think my server is stopped. So let's just wait for 2 minutes. Then we'll just proceed with the some tables. After tables creation, we'll go with repository and then service and then controller. The base package is Right. So let's just proceed. As of now, we just talked about what is MVC, what is Spring Data JPA. Then we started creating project. During the project, there are a lot of words we need to know, technical words in the Spring Boot. So let's everything talk about in the notepad one by one. Perfect. And now, yeah. Then we started creating project. Let's just go to model, right click on this model and create a first class called as customer. So let's create a customer. So if you just create a customer, you just need to add first annotation as entity, Jakarta, and let's add the table name. The table name is equal to, let's just go with the customer underscore table. Now let's add first property as private int ID. And the next property as private string name. Next property as private string gender. Next property as private string date of birth. Next property as private string email. Private string password. Private string location. That's all. So these are the main important properties. If you want, you can add any other properties also. Let me just try to add one double value related to customer. That's all. That's fine. Everything is fine. Let's take first one as @ID because @ID is nothing but a primary key. Primary key is nothing but we can have two constraints. One is unique plus not null. And I want to add a column name also. So for that purpose, column name, the name of the column is customer ID, customer ID. Right. Now let's just I can create setter and getter methods later also, no problem. No, don't want to mention any length and all. So let's copy this for every property clearly. Date of birth, email, password, location. So this is customer name, customer general. If you don't mention column name, the property name will be same for column name. If you don't mention table name, the class name will be same as table name. Customer date of birth, email, password, location. Perfect. Now let's just give some other attributes. I want everything should be a not null. So nullable is equal to false. I'll copy this. Gender should be mandatory. Date of birth should be mandatory. Email should be mandatory. Customer password should be mandatory. And location should be mandatory. Let's take unique. Unique is equal to true. Nullable is a negative word, like null, not, it's not nullable, it is nullable. So by default is true. We just, if you want to make it as not null, then make it as false. I don't want to make my name as unique. The unique is equal to true. Email, generally email is unique. And let us all add contact number also. So this is contact number, contact NO. Generally, I prefer to take contact number as string because it's a long value. If you take integer and long, it will not to store. It will not fit into store. So make sure it be considered as string. So customer contact, remove NO, contact is fine. It should be also. It should be. It should be also unique. It should be also unique. Unique is true. So there are totally three unique, the unique properties are first one ID because it's a primary key. No need to mention unique is equal to true separately because @ID represents unique is equal to true, nullable is equal to false. So first one is ID, second one is email, third one is contact. Let's remove this L also. So sorry. Yeah. Perfect. So I think these are all the properties we have. Let me just count. So totally customer contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's type this. Customer contains totally 7 properties, or we call it as attributes also. 7 properties or attributes. Right. Now I just want to introduce one thing. It's a generated value. So I want it to be like not a manual thing. So generated value. Generated value. We have many strategies we have. So some people will use auto identity sequence. Let's go with identity so that you guys will get auto increment. You'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 automatically assigned. But I just want to highlight one point that this ID value can be taken through form also if you want. Can be random number also, or can be auto generated. Okay, three types. Ask user to enter ID, but as a developer, like we can't ask user to as a client to enter the ID. We should it be a like random ID, or it should be a like auto increment. So generally prefer random ID or auto increment. In worst cases, you can ask a user to enter the ID also. When student ID, faculty ID, in that case, we need to ask the client to enter the ID, but remaining cases just go with auto increment or random ID. So we have done this, all the properties. Let's just generate setter and getter methods. Source generate setter and getter methods, select all. Insertion point should be after contact. Perfect. So we generated setter and getter methods perfectly. And now, so I'm not repeating every point because as it is a live, you can just go back also whenever you stuck with any step. Let's create a second file, which is admin. So same entity table. If you don't mention entity, the table will not be created. So admin underscore table. So I want it to be two things only. One is private string username, and the second one is private string password. I'm not going to take ID as int ID. I'm going to take as a string only. So let's take @ID. This is my primary key now. So in my admin table, which is a primary key, username. And let's add a column. Column as name is equal to admin underscore username. And I want to keep, let's just wait 1 minute. In the customer.java, let's mention length also. Otherwise the length will be 255 automatically. Let's mention length is equal to something around 100. And for gender, the length is equal to 20 or 10, male, female, others. Date of birth length around date, month, year. So 10 is enough. I'm taking 20. Worst case. Email ID 100, like @gmail.com, everything. Password also I'm taking length as 100. If you don't want, you can skip, no problem. But I'm just telling you there is a attribute called as length and all. 100. Contact number, let's take around 20. 10 digits, but worst case, if you take 10 digits, sometimes you'll get truncated error and all. Just take 20, like perfect. So length given clearly. Now coming to admin. Let's give length as 100. Let's take 50 and that's all. Like password is name is admin password, admin underscore password, and length is equal to something around 50. And this is not unique because password can't be unique, but it is nullable is equal to false. Right. Generate setter and getter methods. Generate all after password. Right. We successfully created two models. One is customer, second one is admin. And now what we'll do is like, as we are done with the models perfectly, if you want to add anything, you can add in between the project also. But very important point is like, while typing anything in the model, when you modify or when you add anything, please stop the server. Otherwise, while you type the code, the tables will be created with the existing columns. Later, sometimes if you give location as a column name, location will be added. If you change the column name, that will be altered. Sometimes if you change the column name of column name, that will be added as a other extra column also instead of name change. So ensure that while project is running, like server is running, don't think to the model. If you are done with the models only, then start the server. So I'm done with the models perfectly. Let me just check again. Everything, customer location, everything, start the server. So you will see like the tables are created successfully. Let me just show you. So this is called as show underscore SQL. So table is created, admin table, customer table. Customer contains unique constraints are email. Next one is contact number. That's where we are getting. Only for the unique, you'll get a extra line called as alert table, table name and all. Okay. Now let's check here, show tables. So the tables got created. The first one is the ASC space admin underscore table. Perfect. Now, you all know that admin never have any registration. So let us all insert records into table name. What is that? Admin underscore table values.
Values. So people will go with admin and test and all. As going with Surya and the password is 4654. You can add record like this. Let me add another record. Kiran, password is 1234. Select the star from admin underscore table. Perfect. Customer will register. Okay, but
admin will never have any registration. Admin will never have any registration. That's why we inserted records into this table by using insert into query. Customer will register directly through form and all. Perfect. Right. Right. So now I'm just done with the model part. Next, let's just window this like this only. No. Right. Now, after model, let's just go to repository. Right click on repository, create interface. The first one is customer repository. I already told that we need to create repository. There are three types of repository. We are going to use JPA repository. So use extends. Why we are going to use extends, I'll tell you. JPA repo, right? There are two arguments. JPA repository contains some functionality, right? That will be inherited to customer repository. So now, instead of accessing every method in the JPA repository, now we can access through customer repository. The first argument is model. What is the model name? Customer. So use customer, use control space properly, and ID. What is the ID property in customer? Let me just check. @ID, the property is ID. What is the type of it? Integer. So please take integer. java.lang.integer. So this is not customer, it is customer, right? So two arguments or parameters. First one is model. Second one is type of the ID, integer. Let's take second one, which is admin repository. If you want to perform any operation on admin model, take admin repository. If you want to perform any CRUD operations on customer repository, take customer repository. So interface, customer repository, sorry, admin repository, repository. Admin repository extends because we are going to inherit it. We are going to inherit the JPA repository to admin repository. So here child class is admin repository, base class is JPA repository. What is the model name? Admin. And what is the admin @ID? Admin @ID is username and the type is string. So we need to take string here. You'll get a lot of errors as we are typing the code while server is running. So don't just bother about your console. So take string. So just create and leave it. That's all. So do I need to write anything here? No need as of now. I'll tell you in future. Okay. Now, so models are done, repositories are done. So model done, repository done. Now let's go to service. Let's go to service. Right click on this, create interface. Let's create first one as admin service. Admin service. Generally, admin service, let's talk about admin service later. We'll complete customer service first. So the implementation class is admin service implementation. So this admin service implementation will implement which interface? Admin service, right? So if you write any method here without implementation, that implementation will be written in the admin service implementation. This we call it as interface dependency injection. You are making your code loose coupling. What is loose coupling? Loose coupling is not something like less dependencies. Like it's not related to dependencies. Loose coupling is something like, so whenever you just develop a project with a set of components or set of modules, if I modify any specific component, if it is not going to change other components, then it is called as loose coupling. That means independent of each other. Right. Tight coupling is making a change in other components also. So let's create next service called as next interface called as customer service. Customer service. And implementation is customer IMPL customer service IMPL. So fine. Implements customer service. Right. I'm just closing this models, this file admin, application or properties admin, repositories also, customer service. So for example, if I just keep my project as SDP project roles, as of my project roles are, first one is admin role, second one is customer role. As we have two roles, we created two what we call two services. So service component depends on number of roles, project roles. Repository components depends on number of models. Number of models. So depends on, right? Now let's just go to customer service. Generally, the first one is customer registration. For the registration purpose, we need to add customer object. Output is registered successfully. So let's take string message as a return type. Customer registration. Let's take a camel case, customer registration. The object is customer object C. Or what is the suggestion? Yeah, customer. So customer registration method declaration is done. This should be implemented in the service implementation. So you are getting one error that, so we need to implement, add unimplemented methods. Perfect. One important point here is like, go to repository, admin repository. We need to add a annotation called as repository. So repository is something like it is a data access object. So repository is nothing but data access object, DAO. That means you're going to have your database logic. We discussed in the beginning of our class, right? So repository. Every repository must be annotated with repository annotation. So for the customer also, we'll keep that. If you don't keep this annotation, you'll get error as unsatisfied dependencies. So please check this annotation properly and add. So we are done with the adding of repository annotation in the repositories. And now coming to service implementation. In admin service implementation, you add annotation called as service. So here also service. And now you just need to understand one point that if you do reverse logic, controller will access service layer will access repository. So now service layer will access repository. Now I am in customer service. Customer registration will be done by customer. That's why I added the method in the customer service. Now customer registration is going to perform on customer repository. So please create one variable called as customer repository semicolon, and we need at the rate AutoWord. AutoWord is nothing but communication between two managed objects. We call it beans. Here two beans we have customer service. Second one is customer repository. So now, right, let's just call the method. So what is the variable name? Customer repository, because I'm just going to service is going to access repository. Sir, why we have multiple layers? Controller will access the server. The layer between repository and the control is service layer. Why we kept another layer is something like to provide the more security, because if I don't keep service layer, the problem will be controller directly access repository. So there is a problem of hacking everything and all, I mean issues with the security. That's why we kept another layer called as service layer, so that which is an intermediate layer between controller and the repository. You can implement some kind of tokens mechanism, security mechanism, like any sign-in mechanism, anything we can just implement in the service layer, right? So customer repository dot, there's one method called as save of, very important, we are getting by default as null. Please keep customer. After adding, we need to return the string value. The string value is what? Customer registered successfully. Right. So the first operation is customer registered successfully. We are done. And now let's just go to admin service. Second operation is, so we are done with the customer's registration. So here add operation will be done by customer. If you want it to be admin, so add a method called as add customer in the admin service. Okay, that's up to you. Either admin can add the details, or customer can directly add the details. Second operation is view all customers. So public view all customers contains no input, but the return type is list of all customers. So list of all customers view all customers. So view all customers. Come to admin service implementation, add implemented methods. So you all know that customer service is going to access customer repository, because we are going to perform CRUD operations on customer. But now view all customers is related to customer repository only. It is not something like admin service will access admin repository only. Based on the CRUD operations, we have to decide the repository, and based on the role, we have to decide the service. Role is linked to service. Repository linked to CRUD operations. So now customer repository only. Customer repository and @AutoWide. And now let's just go to view all customers, return. What is the repository name? Customer repository dot find all. You can see one thing called as find all. Find all is nothing but return all instance of the type. Return type is what? List customer. So I'm okay with this. Right, we got. So we are done with the two operations. What are they? Find all, and second one is save. So as of now, we have done with the customer registration, and the method is what? Save of object. Second one is view all customers. customers, and the operation is find all, right? This is flow. So we are just going to use JPA repository, right? So as of now, we are done with the models. We have done with the repository creation. We have done with the service also. So we keep on add we just keep on add some operations during our project. We can't just decide everything at the beginning only. Next one. Now let's just come to our repository again. Now you can't always use the existing method. Sometimes you need to write queries also. So see, I'm just completing my backend part. Then I'll go to my front end part. So let me just show you how to write the queries. So you can't always use the predefined methods always. Sometimes for specific operations, we need to go with like queries also. So how to write queries? All the queries must be written in the backend logic, where we are writing all the database logic. Backend is nothing but server-side code plus database, and repository contains database logic. So we need to write in the repository query, use query, so query of double quotes. So let me introduce a login. How to write login? Everyone knows that customer login contains two values. First one is email and the next one is what? Password. Now, so we are just going to write select. So I don't know what to fetch and all. So let's keep empty from what is the class name? Customer C. C is nothing but alias. So get that C. So whenever you just log in with email ID password, you will get one object. If the email ID or password is wrong, you will get null object. Where select a star from customer C where C dot email. So please check what is the property name for email. The property name for email is email only and password is password only. So we can directly write C dot email is equal to question mark 1. We call it as positional parameters, and C dot password is equal to question mark 2. We call it as position parameter. So how many position parameters we have totally? 2 position parameters. One is email, second one is password. And now every query must be associated with corresponding method. So public space, this query is going to return object. Which object? Customer object. So customer, control space, customer space. The object is check customer login. I repeat once again, check customer login. So now the check customer login doesn't contain any inputs. If there are no inputs, that means there are no position parameters in this query. But now we have two position parameters. So the first input argument is string email, comma, second input parameter is string password, right? So we are going, if you want to execute this query, we need to call this method. What is the method we need to call? Check customer login. Check customer login contains two arguments. One is email, second one is what? Password. And now, so we are done with the repository of, so customer login will be done by customer. That's why I've written in the customer repository. Okay. Now, let's write this method here in the customer service. Public. What is the output object? Return type? Customer. Check customer login. What is the input? String email. Next one is string password. Right. So now let's go to service implementation. Add an implemented methods. Now here return. So now I am writing in the customer service because customer login will be done by customer service. So what is the repository we need to access? Customer repository. I told one point that you guys can use some existing methods like find all, everything and all, delete and save and all. If you want to write your own method, write your own queries. Just we wrote one query called as check customer login. So check customer login, so that whenever you call this method, customer repository check customer login, it will go to repository and it will go to method. Corresponding query will be executed by setting first parameter as email, second parameter as password. If there is no where condition, then there are no inputs in the method also. So like the same we'll go with the admin also, so that it will be a practice for you. So now let's go to admin login. So for implementing admin login, go to admin repository, query. So here we need to mention select A. A is nothing but alias or object, so that we can access the properties in the Java class. From admin A, admin Pojo class contains two things, username and password. Admin login can be done by username and password. So here admin login will be done by using username and password. So now admin A, where A dot username is equal to !1 and A dot password is equal to !2. I just want to get some errors like while running this project or while developing this project, so that I can discuss that error also. Most of the errors I'll just cover during my project development, but if I just get any error in future, I'll discuss that. So getting errors is very important. Okay, because so that while doing your project, you may get a lot of errors and all. That's why I want more errors to be there, so that I can get it resolved, and that I'll tell you why we just got the error and all. And let's add public object name is admin object. Check admin login or verify admin login. There are two inputs we need to pass. The first one is string username, or you can simply call it as uname, and the next one is what? PWD. The username and password. This is string. Perfect. So now, as of now, so let's just go to admin service also. Let's talk about clearly what we have done so far. Public admin, check. You can take different method name also, that's up to you. And what are the two inputs? String username, and the next one is what? String password. So let's implement in the admin service implementation. Control add and implemented methods and check. Here the point is like customer repository will use all the CRUD operations on the customer, but now it is admin related thing. So we need to mention private admin repository. Now please add auto while here. Now call admin repository. So return space admin repository dot check admin login, right? So I hope it is very clear. Whenever you're going for service, you are mentioning that this operation will be done by so and so role. Repository to perform CRUD operation. So for example, I want to add product. So which repository we have to take? Product repository. What is the role we have to take? Seller or admin. That's it. That's up to you. We have done with the backend part. As of now, we have done with the 4 operations. Customer, view all customers. Customer registration and the login will be done by customer directly. View all customers, admin login will be done by admin. Later we'll add remaining operations also one by one accordingly. So let's all implement these 4 in today's demonstration. Right, we are done. Now I'll just close all the tabs. Now let's go to the last package, which is controller. So I'm creating control for every role. The first controller is for admin controller, admin. And the very important point is like every controller will be associated with the annotation called as @controller. So please use @ because this is the main code where you're going to develop all your navigations, or we call it as routes, right? The second one is right click on this. Let's go to class. The class is customer controller. So the customer controller is going to associated with the annotation called as controller. Perfect. So see, I'm just going with the backend, and then we just landed in the front end part. So all the JSP files must be created in the web app. So let us all create the first web app JSP file. Right click on this, go to JSP file. The JSP file is home. You just create next for the one time, so that choose this preview. Like sometimes if you create JSP file, it will be created with the normal HTML code. You need to get this some kind of existing code, page directive and all. So choose the template. Second time onwards, you no need to click on next. You can directly click on finish. So this is a basic code. In the title, I'm just mentioning as JFSD SDP, and the body, some body message like let's keep H2 Spring Boot SDP demo. Okay, Spring Boot SDP demo. Now, Spring Boot SDP demo. 1 second. So it's like let's keep H2 Spring Boot SDP demo. Spring Boot SDP demo. Now let us all render this home.jsp into customer or admin. I'm just going to write the controller code in the customer controller. Let's start. First, let's start. So I hope you already gone through the previous video, that is REST controller. I clearly explained how to just use all the mappings, everything and all. If you have any doubts, just go through it. That is a basic program which contains all the demos of how to use all the mappings and all, and how to print message by using response body, everything. Let's go with get mapping. Get mapping is used to get the display the data. Get mapping. I'm going with the slash actually. First root is slash. We call it as URI. Public space. So model and view. Model and view. Let me take home. 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 Now let's just create model and view object. Model and view. MV is equal to new model and view of MV dot set view name of what is the file name? Home. Don't mention home.jsp, mention home only. If you mention home.jsp, it will consider as home.jsp.jsp. Some people will mention this home here also. Either way is okay. There are two ways. Return MV. Model and view object contains both model as well as view. Both model as well as view. Right. So let us all run this project first of all, so that whenever you just run slash home.jsp will be rendered, but we are going to get error. I know we are going to get error. We will resolve that error, then we'll get home.jsp. So right click on this, open web browser. Open web browser. So let me just copy this. Control V. So the file is getting downloaded like this. I repeat once again, the file is getting downloaded like this. That is the problem. Why? Because everyone knows that Spring Boot contains an embedded server called as Tomcat. Even though Tomcat is inbuilt, but it will not be able to render or compile the JSP files. So to resolve this error, you just need to go to pom.xml. Let's go to pom.xml. Let's go to pom.xml, and we need to add first dependency as, let's go to dependency stack, give a space here. So let me check what is the Tomcat version currently now. Accordingly, we'll take. So the Tomcat version is around 10 point something, 10.1.31. So please go to MVN repository. Here you type Apache Tomcat. Okay, Apache Tomcat. Apache Tomcat. Tomcat what? 10 point. org Apache Tomcat 10.3.1. Right. Then I think I saved here. I'll just show you. org Apache Tomcat. Apache, type Apache Tomcat Jasper. Right. The first one. Take the first one. Take the first one. Take the first one. So this is the link. Please type properly. So search for 10.1.31. This one. come down, copy this. So paste here. Right. Now, second one. First one is to compile to render JSP files, we need to add this. Otherwise, the files will not get compiled. Instead, it will be downloaded. Second one, JSTL, Java Server Pages Standard Library. For that, we need to add Glassfish, Jakarta Servlet and all. Glassfish, type Glassfish. Glassfish, let's type Glassfish Web Jakarta. Jakarta. I'll just 1 minute, org. I'll type and I'll just show you it. org.glassfish web. Then choose Jakarta. This one, sixth one. There will be, let me just check the version 3.0.01. Open this. Copy. I think there will be like 3.0.3 also. What is the latest version? Let's go with 3.0.0 as of now. Okay. So I'll show you again. First one is Tomcat Jasper. Okay. Next one, org Glassfish Web. You can go with 3.0.1 also, but I'm just going with the 3.0.0 only. So it's the sixth one. 3.0.0. 0.1. I mean, I just checked once 0.1. Somewhere around, like, I just got error. I mean, like a few months back. So currently I'm just going with the 3.0.0 only. 3.0.0. Copy this. Control. So this is 10.1.1. So what I'm doing is, like, after copy pasting this code, what I'll do is, like, let me update this pom.xml code as a description. Okay. So let me add that description so that you can directly copy paste. If you want, you can just check the video also. Like, so let's give the links directly instead of copy paste the entire process. Versions, you need to keep first one as versions. The first one is 10.31.1, second one is 3.0.0. So these are the pom.xml. For time being, I'm just giving these two links in the description of the YouTube video. Right. Perfect. Now you guys can check these two. Right. The first version is 10.1.31 and second one is 3.0. So we are getting one warning or error. The error is overriding managed version 3.01 Jakarta. Okay. The part here is, like, some of the dependencies are already redundant in the previous dependency. So don't click on remove version declaration. Ignore this warning. Very important. Ignore this warning. Ignore this warning. Perfect. So now this is very important. After that, I want you to stop the server. I repeat once again. I want you to stop the server and right click on the project, Marvin, update project. Sometimes when you take the dependency, meanwhile, if there is any update in that dependency, sometimes it may not be able to download the latest version. So force update. Click on OK. Updated in my Marvin project. So Spring Boot itself is a Marvin. Right. I just stopped the server. Now let me just start it again. So right click on this, restart. Restart. If you get your project, but in future you may get in the runtime. Perfect. Now go to this and type localhost 654. So we got Spring Boot SDP 10. Perfect. So 1.5 hour nearly where we just created the backend part. And now we are entering into the controller, which is front end using JSP. So if you don't add those two dependencies, I've shown you error, the JSP file will not get rendered. Some people will use ThemeLeaf library also, but suggestion is go with JSP. If you know, you can go with ThemeLeaf also. That will also be discussed in later classes, but mainly with the JSP is very important, right? Yeah. So let us all do one thing. Let me just start creating all the JSP files. Let me develop my front end properly first. I'm just going to create first navbar as main navbar. In the main navbar, keep JFSD as a heading, and let me remove pom.xml. Everything is fine. Home main navbar. So let me just develop my navbar first. I'll keep one div tag which contains a href is equal to it. It contains some h2 heading. Line is equal to center. And let me take body bg color light gray, my favorite color. So Spring Boot demo SDP, Spring Boot demo SDP project. You can name any, you just name the project with any other names like course management or customer management, whatever it is. Then first one is home, second one, third one, fourth one. Second one is customer registration. For now, let's keep hash directly so that later we can keep our roots, customer login. The next one is admin login. You can just skip admin login, like don't mention directly in the menu bar, /admin login you can mention. So I want this menu bar repeated in the every file. So first file is home. What is the home? So mention /here. Okay, mention /here. Now let's just mention here it as home, the main home, and how to include the JSP file, one JSP file, another JSP file by using. So use less than percentage @ include directive file is equal to what is main navbar, what is the file name, main navbar.jsp, right? Now let me refresh this. Let me add some space here so that there will be space between every hyperlink. Later we'll add some bootstrap menu bar and all quickly. Right. Now right. 1 second. I click on the right. I just thought that like my voice is not recorded. Thank you. Fine. Fine. So now I just included main navbar in home. Now let's develop customer is, and if I click on home, slash is there. Sorry, not this one. So sorry. Okay. Now let's develop custom. What I'll do is like, let me copy this, Control V. This is customer registration. So customer registration. Simply customer REG. Copy this. Control V. Customer login. Login. Copy this. Let's write admin login in the admin controller. You can write in the customer controller also. That's up to you. Admin login. Copy this. Paste it. The point here is like when you refresh, like when you click on, it is getting loaded. Yeah. When you just 1 second. So one of admin control is already main. Right. Customer login, everything. Let me refresh. Let us all just go to admin controller, admin login is mapped. So ambiguous contact. I think we just already refreshed admin login dot set unit. So slash is there. Okay. So let's go to admin login. There are 2 slashes right here, and that's why we got error. Refresh. Let me just restart this again. What exactly we got? At the rate controller, we just got main method org dot ambiguous can't map customer controller. Okay, customer controller. Oh, so sorry. I'm not changing these rules. That's the problem. Like slash is there. The next one is customer REG. Next one is customer login. Okay. Yeah. We can't keep the same root, right? That's the problem. Slash. Is anything to change? Like still anything to change? Here admin login, admin login. Still, let me just restart. Still, I think anything customer controller login is there. Right, project is running. Perfect. Customer home registration. Let's create the file, new JSP file, customer REG. Let's create second one, admin login. Admin login. Next one is customer login. Customer login. Right. So now let's just develop customer registration first. What are the code we have in home? Let's just put it here. So customer registration. Let's change the menu bar also. In name main navbar, if you click on customer registration, we need to go to customer REG. If you click on customer login, we need to go customer login. If you click on admin login, we need to go to admin login. Perfect. Let me. station. Right. So we just got okay. I need this kind of errors. No static resource customer reg. I missed one R. Let's customer control.
But the problem is I created with customer reg. Here I just given only single R, right? Refresh. Home, customer registration, we got it. Login. We have to write admin login. So now customer registration. So for the customer registration purpose, let us all develop from S3,
which is customer registration form. So which is ln is equal to center. Totally 7 we have, right? Okay, refresh. So let's just type form, and now let's give a label. Right. I think we can put it in table tag. Table close. 1 second. Let's go with first label first, and then we'll label. Enter name. Input type is equal to. Let's close this. We can close like this. Type is equal to text. Name is equal to. I'm keeping my name as, customer name as C name, because when you enter something in the field, that value will be saved in the C name, which is very important. Required. All right. Enter name. So let's take a break here. One break. So let's copy 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think let me check model properly so that I'll get to know what exactly we just included in our customer model. The first one is name. Next one is a radio button. So select gender. Let's copy this 3 times. This one is male, female, others. And the type is radio. Copy. This is C gender. For the radio button, the option tag and all, we need to mention value also separately. So if I click on male, it should be, I'm okay, all letters, value is equal female, and this one is others. If you want, you can enter remaining genders also. That's up to you. Then the next one is after gender, let's go to date of birth. Date of birth is something like select. We need to select the date of birth, right? So there is a one type called as date. Name is CDOP. CDOP. Right. And after date of birth, email password. Enter email ID. Type is email. Name is. Meanwhile, some people, what will do is like they'll open ChatGPT. They'll ask like, create a form with all the 7 fields and all. I'm just typing from scratch. Okay, I'll not use any kind of resource. C email. The next one is password. Enter password. The type is password, and this is CPWD. Right. Next one is after password. Next one is location and contact number. Okay. Enter location. C location. And last one is enter contact. I'm just taking contact number as number, and contact. Right. Let's keep input to submit. And the value is equal to register. This is clear. Reset. So I can enter some name here. Select the date particularly. Email. It should be at @gmail.com. Password. Location, something like this. Contact number. Perfect. So customer registration form is done. Now what we'll do is like we will just use some bootstrap form here.
Right. Bootstrap form here. We just need to take some by default links. Let's go with some bootstrap.
Right. If you want, you can create some CSS file, external CSS file as style.css and keep that CSS file in the main navbar by use tag, link tag actually, link. So link REL is equal to style sheet and type is equal to text/CSS and href is equal to style.css. You guys can use external CSS or internal CSS also accordingly. Then because if we can do one thing actually, I think somewhere around we kept light blue, light gray as a background color in the main navbar. I'll be removing here. So let me put that color in the style.css. Let's check whether it is applying or not. Body, background color, light gray, light gray. Right, it's just getting applied. If I just keep something around red, I mean, only for the demonstration purpose, I'll change it immediately. Perfect, it is working. Right. So style.css is working properly. Right, customer registration. Let's keep this style viewport, everything in the main navbar. If you put in main navbar, it will be included in every file, right? That's why I'm just keeping it in the main navbar. We need internet because these are the repositories links. If you want, you can download and you keep it in the web app folder. Otherwise, use link directly. A CDN, like distribution networks on everything, content distribution networks. These are all the repository links where we can directly use them. And then div container. Let's go to customer registration. So I want you to put the entire form into a div container. Here, div. Let's close the here. Right. So container. If any existing, this is very important, the class form control. Let's use this class form control and let's check in the refresh. Okay, everything got changed. For the radio button also we can change. Oh God. We'll change the form control for radio button separately, like 1 second. Let's keep for remaining things. What are the remaining things we have? Like email ID, password, location, contact number. Right. Let's just go to Bootstrap MDP. Here we'll go to all the things like form, radio button. Let's just check for the radio button. Show code. For radio button, they are giving form check our input. Okay. Let's go ahead with that. Give a space here, otherwise it will be 1 second. Here, double quotes we have. Double quotes. Right. Let's check. Class form colon input. Form input type radio check. Input class is equal to disabled input. Right. Radio. Refresh. If I click on register, perfect. Now let's just go to some Bootstrap button code. Let me just go with some green color like success. Okay. So class is equal to button success. We'll keep this for this one class. Perfect. Just okay as of now. So now, whenever you just click on submit, you consider the method name here. Method post or get. Let's go with post to insert customer. So we'll write the code for insert customer. So let's go to customer control. So what is the mapping? @post mapping. @post mapping of insert customer. Okay. Public. I don't know what is the return type as of now. So let's void only. You can give any method name. It's insert customer. So now, so we need to get the data from frontend to the middleware. So HTTP servlet request.
So take the data from HTML to middleware, that is Spring Boot, by using request dot get parameter. We don't have ID. And what is the parameter? What is the name for the name? It is CNAME. CNAME. Okay. CNAME. Like that, we'll take remaining also, because CNAME, gender,
C gender. C gender. C gender and the next is C DOB. Because the value will be saved in that what we call in that field. C
email. And the next one is C password. And the next one is C location. Okay, C location. C contact. Total 7 fields. We just skipped ID.
string name is equal to name. String gender is equal to. There is other concept also. Generally, people will use request parameter to read the data in HTML. There is other concept called as model attribute. So this will be discussed. Right. Both the now I'm going with request.get parameter. String DOP and string email, string location,
String contact number. So now we just able to get all the data except ID. Let's create a customer. Customer is equal to new customer. Let us all set all the parameters. First one is c dot ID is not there because it's auto increment. So customer dot
name, customer dot set gender, customer dot set DOP, set DOP. DOP we got contact automatically. This is very important. We need to take DOP. Customer dot email, set email. Email perfectly matched. That's why we got this addition like that only. Location. Customer dot set email. Email is done. Contact number done. So we missed one thing, which is password. Either way, we'll get error, right? Password is not null. So we'll get to know at that moment. But now I identified now itself. So password. Customer dot set password. Now we have the object ready input. Now we all know that as per the flow, service controller will call service layer. Customer controller will call which layer? Customer service. So customer service. Let's take it the rate auto while. Come down. Let's call the method. Customer service dot customer registration. Object name is what? Customer. What is the return type? String. String message. String message. String message. After getting the message, you guys can return the message also directly, but we need to mention in a separate file. So what I'm doing is like, I'm going to add this message to separate file. MV dot, what is the file? MV dot, let us all create one model and view object. Model and view object. MV is equal to new model and view object. MV dot set view name of, I want to separately print this like customer reg success. Okay, so let's create that file. Customer reg success, or reg success is fine. Not too much name. Too much name also, like it will be great for us. Customer registration success. Right. Now in the customer controller, customer registration success, mv dot add object of, you guys need to add the message by using, my name is message and the value is message only, both are same. So using message, we are going to get that semicolon and finally return MV. Now what I'm exactly doing, I'm going to print a message separately in a file called as registration success. How to add the data to JSP file? By using mv dot add object. So we're getting error because it's not void, it is what? Model and view. Right. So in the registration success, so it is success message. So let's do success message. So we need to include the tag library less than percentage @taglib. Taglib UR is equal to jakarta.tags.core. Prefix is equal to C. So all the tags will start with C. So now here C colon out dollar. What is the message variable we have taken here? Message. So we need to consider first argument, message. So message. Generally, after registration success, we'll go to login page. What is the login page? Customer login. So login here. Right. Now let me just check. Refresh. Name. Mail. Date of birth. Email ID. If I don't enter also, it will show you error, right? You just add all the validations accordingly. Surya. Location by Zach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So customer registered successfully. Login here. So login page we didn't develop. Okay. So let me check in the table. Select star from customer underscore table. So we got first record added. Okay. So 1 we got added. Go back. Let me just insert second record also. Second record is Sitaram. Sita @gmail.com. And then Sita. Location is Vijayawada. Guntur, I think so. Guntur. Contact number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Register. Now let's just check the second record. If I refresh this, the values will be again resubmitted. So that means same email ID, same contact number. So you'll get error as same contact number. Okay. So duplicate ID. Otherwise, if I give different email address as 1, 2, 3 with the same contact number, you'll get different duplicate contact number. So for the customer registration, if you give same contact number or same email ID, you'll get the exception. Okay, I hope you know that. So with this, we have done with the customer registration. Let us all go with the login part. So with the same energy, we'll go with the login part. So what I'll do is like, whatever there in the customer registration, I'm just going to copy in the admin login. So this is admin login form. Admin login form. I'll remove this action also for now. We need only username and password, right? Let's remove everything. We need only username and password. This is also like login. Let's check. Okay. It's not name actually, it is username. Let's keep a username. Let's keep a password. Right. Login. Now here check admin login. So let's write the code for check admin login in the update controller. For that, we need to access admin service. Admin service. @autowide. Now let's just implement post mapping because method is post and the mapping name is check admin login. Before going to proceed with this, let me explain the flow. First we need to give the request like this, admin login. This request will be taken by the dispatcher servlet. Automatically, it is configured. It is part of MVC. So that the request will be taken by whom? Dispatch servlet. So after taking request by the dispatch servlet, it will go to your application. It will search for the Java classes with controller annotation. So how many we have? Two: admin controller and customer controller. So it will go to this mapping. If the mapping is not there, not found, or no static resource. If the mapping is there, corresponding method will be executed. So this corresponding method will return model and view. It will check the view resolver in the application properties. If you set prefix and suffix properly, then corresponding JSP file will be written. So that is the MVC flow. First dispatcher servlet, then controller, then mapping, then corresponding method, return model and view object. Finally, view resolver. Public void check admin login, or you can write verify login also. So we need to declare HTTP servlet request. We need to take two things. One is a uname, a password. Okay. String uname is equal to request.get parameter of a uname. String password is equal to request.get parameter of a password. Now let's call admin service. No need to create object because we are passing individually, not as object. So dot check admin login. Check admin login will return which object? Admin object. So admin. See. Check whether object is null or not. If it is null, for example, then do something. If it is not null, if it is not null, do something. Before that, let me create model and view object. Model and view MV is equal to new model and view. So let's create two things. First one is admin home. Second one is admin login fail. Now first one we'll go with admin login. If the admin object is there, we need to set the view name as admin home so that it will redirect it to admin home. If it is not there, we just need to redirect it to admin login fail. By adding a message as mv.add object of the message is login failed. So I'm just keeping MSG as my variable name. I can keep any variable name and the message as login failed, semicolon. So return what? MB, right? So what we have done exactly, now we have to change here also model. So we took two values from the front end, username, password. We call the function. We check whether object is null or not. So this is nothing but login success, right? Now, what are the values we have in the admin underscore table? Kiran 1234 and Surya 4654. Okay. In the login fail, let's just, I think I can just use this code in the login fail. But I think the message variable is MSG. Let's take same variable name so that there will be no confusion. So this is login fail. After login fail, we need to try again. So try again to which login? Admin login. Right. Let's just refresh. Let's give a random username and password. Click on login. We just got login failed. Try again. Otherwise, go to Surya 4654. That's the password. Login. So we are in admin home. So we are done with the registration. We are done with the admin login part. That is authentication model is done. So let's go to third operation, view all employees. Let's create admin navbar. whatever the code in the main navbar will keep in the admin navbar. So let's develop this. First one is home. It is admin home. Yes or no? Right. And I don't want this. Change this to view all employees, customers, view all customers. I didn't implement this, so hash and click on logout. Admin login. Okay, not admin logout. Now let's keep, I think admin home we need to, I think we can just copy paste the code of home page code into admin home page code. But only changes like instead of main navbar, we need to take admin navbar. Let's log in with Kiran 1234. Kiran 1234. Refresh. Kiran 1234. Home, view all customers, yet to implemented logout. Click on home. Admin home is not there. Right. Let's go to admin controller. Let's implement admin home. Admin home. Right. You can write this in the here double quotes also. I'll show you. Wait. There's other way. Admin home. Right. Home. View all customers yet to be implemented. Logout. Surya 4654. So let's implement view all customers. For that, we'll create one file called as one CSS file called as, I mean HTML JSP file called as view all customers. Let us all copy paste the code of admin home into view all customers. Refresh. All customers. I think I need to write, okay, I just need to write the view all customers part. Yeah. @get mapping. Get mapping because to display view all customers, public model and view all customers. Model and view MV is equal to new model and view MV dot set view name of view all customers dot JSP return MV. Right. Set view name, right? Sorry, my bad. View all customers have to given, we have to give in the admin navbar. Control V. Let's just refresh this view all customers. So it's an empty page now. Let's just try to keep H3 align is equal to center view all customers. Right. Let's create a table now. Table with the TR with the TD. Total 7 TDs. Let's keep H directly because table header. ID name like this. Password I don't want to mention. I'll always skip password. ID, name, gender, date of birth, email, password is not there, location, contact number. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Refresh. Put this table in the align center and border is equal to around 2 let's go to, we just need to send the data to this customer, right? Yeah. For that purpose, call the method admin service dot view all customers. It is going to save to list of customer. Let's take customers as my variable name. MV dot, when you want to add any data, you can add directly MV dot add object. Add object. Customers, customer list is my variable name. Customer is my value. Okay. Refresh. Now, if you just run this file will be open along with this data. Now, using this, we are going to print the data. Okay. So let us all use the tag library here. The tag library is less than percentage at the rate tag library. URI, no, one second. URI, Jakarta core tag. No, Jakarta core tag. That is the latest version. Somewhere around we used, right? Yeah, Jakarta text. Prefix is equal to C. Now come here. After TR, because first row is heading row. Second row is C colon for each. Okay. We need to repeat every row. Okay. With 7 TDs based on the number of records in table. Items. Items is nothing but your list variable. What is the list variable? Customer list. And every list contains one object. That object will be saved in var. You can take anything. I'm taking the customer as my variable name. Now, TD, you take C colon out. 1 second. C colon out. Dollar message. What is the variable name? Customer. Customer dot. You'll not get any suggestions. That's the problem. ID. Customer dot ID. Refresh. ID is not there. Okay. ID is there. What is error? Property ID is not found on the property type string. What is the repository I used? I used admin service dot view all customers. Oh, I think I have 1 second. In the repository, no, in the service method, admin service implementation, customer repository only. Then customer repository dot find all, clear. Let me just take repository type. Integer only. Perfect. Right. ID not found. Let's just check name. Let's check with the name. Customer dot name. Name is not found. Okay. Customer list customer. Let's close everything. Let's just check customer repository, extends JPA repository, integer only. I think customer is not properly imported. Customer.java. ID only, name. It's perfect. The main problem in the controller. Admin controller, we took list of customer, admin service.view all customers. Customers, customer list. We just got ID not property now. root cause. Property name not found on the type. We'll go reverse engineering. Customer list of type view all customers. Let's go to admin service. In the admin service, we took list customer. Customer got imported properly. Perfect. Then we implemented customer imported. And let me just check this one. Find all. It's find all. Let me just restart again so that we'll see. Admin service will implement customer repository. Customer repository also be printed customer with perfect only. So let's log in. Let's log in Surya 4654. We all customers. Property name is not found. Okay. Let's go to this view all customers again. Dollar customer. Let's go with gender. Same. One second. For each customer list, customer correct. Right. The only problem is like I just forgot to mention dollar curly brace here. So sorry. So sorry for the inconvenience. Dollar curly brace. Right. So just keep that customer list because it's a variable. So let's just start with ID. Let's refresh here. Perfect. Now like this, we'll keep total 7, 6 or 7. Name, gender, date of birth. As it is a variable name, right? Because whenever you just take the MV object from the controller to the JSP file, you need to put that variable in the dollar curly brace. That is very important. Email, location, contact. Total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Second one is name. Okay. We just got some extra TDs also. That's the problem. TD. Customer dot. Right. First one is ID, TR. Next one is name. Third one is date of birth, email, location, and contact number. It's fine. Let us all apply some kind of bootstrap table. Bootstrap table. CSS. We'll go with this. I need to keep my table in a class called as table class. Let's refresh. Let me just check this some TD's part. Why we just got this problem? C column for each where number of rows will be created. So is there any TD which is not closed properly? Not like that. So let's refresh and we have totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just check. Table tag and TR tag is fine. See, number of for each row will be executed for number of TRs. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So let's go with normal TDs only instead of headings. So we'll see what exactly will happen. Right. Okay. Right. The problem here is like I didn't close the TH tags properly. That's the problem. That's why we got extra TH. Right. Perfect. This is fine. This is fine. So table with the right width, height and all. So home, we all customers logout. So let's implement customer login also. Whatever the code we have in the admin login, let's keep into customer login. So let's just put a heading as customer login here. It is check customer login. And as it is email and password, not username and password. It is C email, C password. Everything is perfect. Right. Login. Let's go to customer repository. What I'll do is like I'll use the code of admin controller check admin login. We can just copy paste the code directly. So copy this customer controller. We can same code, right? There it is username password. Here it is email ID password. But we need to, but taking the code, using the same code, it is very hectic task because we need to do a lot of modifications. That's the problem here. And here it is not a username, it is C email and will be saved to C email. Here it is not C password. It is C password. So we need to call customer service. It is already called. So customer service dot, let's remove this part. Customer service dot, we already written a query, right? Got check customer login, email ID password. And let's save it into customer is equal to, if the customer is not equal to null, let's just redirect into customer home. If it is null, for example, let me keep that message into same file instead of taking separate file. I mean, I'll just print the message just above the form. So login failed, everything is perfect. So how to, so I think it is home. So let's create a file called as customer home under web app. I am in customer home. Right. Now let's just try to print this message. 1 second. Let me refresh. Customer login. There's a one error it is showing. Like, let me just check that. The mapping is already there. Okay, thank you. It is it is check customer login. Is a repeated error we are getting since beginning. Refresh. We got surya@gmail.com. Let's give a random, just give a random email ID and password. If the password is, it is same page. If it is correct password and correct email address, it is written to, okay. What is the password of Surya? It is Surya only. Let's check surya@gmail.com. And the password is Surya. It should go to admin. Somewhere around we are missing something. Check customer login. Customer login contains, this is the, we didn't change the C password. Yeah, because it is now, just go to customer login. Surya@gmail.com. Wrong password. Perfect. It is working. Surya@gmail.com. Correct password Surya. It should go to customer home. Perfect. Perfect. If it is wrong, I should display some message here. For that purpose, let me use this line. Okay. In just above the customer login form here. Let's just put that message into H3, H2. Okay. And not H2, it is H4 because H3, H2 already used. H4 is less than that. ln is equal to center, and let's keep some style is equal to color is equal to red. If I give a wrong password like surya@gmail.com, if I give a wrong password, 1 second. I need to use a tag library, right? Well, that's why we are not taking this. @ tag URI jagatta.tags. Prefix is equal to so we got login page. I think I kept login page just above the okay. Okay, that's okay. Anywhere, okay. So I printed admin login page in a separate page, but customer login page in a same form. So because you just minimize the number of files, don't take multiple files and all, okay. So customer registration is done, customer login is done, admin login is done. Perfect. Let's just log in with admin, which is Kiran 1234. Now let's print some count here. For that purpose, go to admin service, public. Count is of type long, not integer. Customer count, no input. Long. Admin service implementation, add implemented methods. We can use a count method by using repository. I want a customer count. So we need to take which repository? Customer repository dot count. So if you see, you can see a long value, right? It's not integer. So we got count. It's an aggregate function. Let's go to admin controller so that we can just mention. So immediately after login, the immediate page is check admin login. So we need to write that code in the check admin login in the if part. So mention admin service dot customer count, save it to long count is equal to, okay. Then mv dot add object of count, and the value is what? Count. So after login, the immediate page is what? Check admin login, not admin home, okay. So let us all print this count on the home page of the admin. So go to admin home page. We need to use this tag library in the admin home also. And let us all print this C colon total customers is equal to colon C colon out. What is the value? $. What is the variable name? Count. Refresh. So we got total customer is equal to 2. We'll take a break here. br/2 right. In the view all customers also I want to print. In that case, go to admin controller again, copy these 2 lines, put it in home page first of all, because admin home page also we need to print, right? Next, view all customers. Where is view all customers here? So I added count as well as customer data also. Whatever this line is there, just copy that into home page. We are done already. And next to view all customers. all customers. Let's print above the thing by using br slash right. Refresh. Perfect. So home, all customers. In order to take multiple breaks here, like one is enough. So we are done with what are the operations, like we are done with customer registration login, all customers, and we are done with the customer count also. For that purpose, I used aggregate function called as counter. We call it as aggregate function or a multi-row function. Okay. Now let's just finish session introduction part. Then we'll continue in the next online class. So we have still 25 minutes. Let us all close everything. Go to customer controller. Check admin customer login here. After immediate login success, let's create a session variable. HTTP session is equal to request. Request variable is already there in the method argument. So request dot get session. There are 4 methods. Session dot set attribute customer, session dot set attribute, session dot set attribute. The attribute name is customer and the object name is customer. Okay. So now customer is my session variable or session object. Customer is a session variable or session object. So we created session variable for customer object. Now we can access every property using customer object. Immediately after check customer login, we'll go to which home? Customer home. So here, please use scriptlet tag to write the Java code. Session dot get attribute of session dot get attribute of customer object. Session dot get attribute will return object value, but we need which value? Customer value. Customer C is equal to. Please typecast properly to customer. Done. Now, using customer object, let us all print welcome, some space between. We can use expression tag to print the variable in the JSP. C dot, you'll get all these additions. C dot control space, get name, get name, get name. Let's log in with the customer login, surya@gmail.com. Surya. So welcome Surya Kiran. Right. So we need to include the menu bar, right? So for that purpose, let's create a new menu bar called as customer navbar. Customer navbar. Whatever the code in the admin navbar, please copy in the customer navbar. So let us all design accordingly. First one is home. It is customer home. Second one is view all customers. It is my profile or customer profile. Customer profile. Hash. It is logout. Take customer login, because when you click on logout, it will go to login page, but don't take customer login, take logout, because we need to destroy the session, everything and all. So we need to write some code. So let's keep customer logout. Let us all include the navbar by using include. I think in the admin home we mentioned, right? Use that. Customer home. In the customer home, we need to include, okay, what happened? Customer home. Right. What is a navbar? Customer now. Right. Let's give a break here, br slash greater than slash. So home, customer home is not there. Let's develop this. Copy this customer home. Whenever you don't, if you are getting error, just implement that resource. That's all. Customer home. Let me refresh. C is not null. Okay, got it. Logout. Customer logout is not there. Okay, let's implement from scratch. Customer, surya@gmail.com. Surya, right. I just logged out again because we have session variables. So home means customer home. I think in the customer home, we need to change this heading. This is customer home. This customer home. Right. This customer home. Let's refresh. Now let's complete customer profile, then we'll wind up the session. Let's create a file called as customer profile. Copy paste the code of customer home into profile. And the heading will be my profile. My profile. Let's keep align is equal to center. So, and first one is ID. How to print ID? Get name of ID. Like this, we'll take a break here. Total, we have 6 or 7. We'll mention accordingly. Name, gender, DOP, email. I'm just skipping password, location, contact number. Get name, get gender, get date of birth, get email, get location, get contact. Right. So because everything is session variable only. I think we are getting one error. So let's just remove this and type again, but it will be better so that that error will be gone. Otherwise, it will be shown as that yellow mark, red mark one. Get right. Let's go to customer controller. Let's implement customer profile so that that page will be open. Every time when you want to render any page, just write model and view object. Simple logic. Don't directly open .jsp file. Right. I think I don't know whether I given navbar also. Yeah, here I just given hash customer profile. Let's log out. I need to implement customer logout also. Let's implement. Otherwise, every time we'll get that error. Customer logout. How to implement that? Just copy paste this customer logout. Customer logout. Customer login. Refresh. Logout. Surya@gmail.com. Sita@gmail.com and the password is Sita. Password is not Sita. Sita only. SEE. SEE. I just thought like PHA. Okay. Welcome Sitaram. Customer profile. So we got the profile perfectly. And then click on logout. Perfect. So in today's class, we just talked about what is Spring Boot MVC exactly, Spring Boot architecture, and MVC flow, and what is Spring Data JPA, and the structure. The structure is like model, repository, and I simply call it as project structure. The same structure you need to follow for your SDP project also. And then we performed for 5 to 6 operations. The first one is customer registration, customer login, admin login because there is no registration for admin, and view all employees or customers, whatever it is, and the session management. I've shown you how to create session. In the next session, we'll show you how to delete the session so that we can get session expiry page. One thing is clear that sometimes customer will add the details directly, registration, or admin will add the details. So my suggestion is like use the same concept of this registration concept in the admin login also by just mentioning what we call mentioning a menu item called as add student, add customer. So while adding by the customer, my suggestion is like in the admin controller or whatever the controller, if any field is not there, if you want to give some by default password, then you can give directly password is equal to something like demo123 semicolon like this. So some fields we can't just directly mention in the form. You can directly assign values like that. Okay, we call it as default values. So thank you so much, and these like this will continue the session in the upcoming days also. So please refer these YouTube videos and get your project done as earliest as possible. You just work as a team. So in my project, like there are 2 roles, admin, customer. You also divide your project roles in among yourself and develop individually. Then you can combine and then project at the end. So eventually you need to implement microservice architecture. That means independent modules instead of monolithic, right? So thank you so much. Happy Sunday. Thank you guys.